You're going along your day, minding your own business, doing your work, when spam, suddenly something happens, a text, an email, someone makes a facial expression. Next thing you know, you're feeling anxious, angry, alone, upset, embarrassed, triggered. You've read about journaling or changing your thoughts, but right now, all of that feels so far away because your emotions have been hijacked. And you end up either ruminating for hours or reacting in a way that you don't necessarily feel proud of later. And at the end of the day, you wonder, oh man, I know what to do in the moment. Why don't I ever do it? Why do I get so overwhelmed in the moment that I can't follow my own plan? I know how this feels. I've been there and I've helped hundreds of people who've been there as well. See, in this video, I'm going to show you why you're not able to follow those steps that you're planned for. It's because of a particular switch in your body that you're not aware of. And number two, how to turn on this switch so you can quickly regulate and think clearly in any situation, right? So let's get started. Number one, why is it that despite our best intentions, we're not able to pause and make better decisions when we're triggered, right? To understand this, we need to understand our nervous system and the way it's structured. Human beings, all of us, have a central nervous system, which is our brain and spinal cord, and our peripheral nervous system, which is all the nerves coming from our spinal cord that go into all parts of our body. Okay. The peripheral nervous system is made up of the autonomic nervous system and the somatic. We're only concerned with the autonomic nervous system because that's the one that is concerned with how you respond and react to triggers. So, central and peripheral nervous system, the peripheral has an autonomic side. That's the one we're concerned with. The autonomic nervous system is actually made up of two parts, sympathetic and parasympathetic. Okay, so the sympathetic nervous system is the nervous system that allows you to fight or run away when you are in danger. So it's going to give you a lot of energy in your muscles, make your heart beat fast, have you be sweating, your vision narrows because you're tracking enemies and making sure that you're not getting killed, basically, right? So when you feel activated, anxious, overwhelmed, angry, wanting to fight, that's your sympathetic nervous system. And it thinks that your life is in danger. So it's getting you revved up to either fight or run away. The parasympathetic nervous system is the part that can slow you down. It can either slow you down to feel calm, open, flexible, think creatively, problem solve, have compassion for yourself and other people. That part of the parasympathetic nervous system is what I call the safety switch. And I'm going to show you how to turn on that part of your parasympathetic nervous system. Okay. So, in brief, the peripheral nervous system has autonomic and somatic. The autonomic is the one we are concerned with. It has a sympathetic and the parasympathetic. The sympathetic revs you up. The parasympathetic has a switch called the safety switch or the vagal switch, which allows you automatically, when you switch it on, you will feel calm, relaxed, open, and be able to think clearly and problem solve. So that switch is the one that we need to turn on. Here's the cool thing that research has shown. When we are in sympathetic overdrive, when we're upset and revved up, our thoughts about the same situation will be more anxious and panicked and enraged. When we are in parasympathetic, the safety system, when that is switched on, the same situation, okay? The situation has not changed, but the way we think about that situation is much more calm, confident, compassionate, has flexibility, creative, problem solving. We tend to respond intelligently rather than react and then regret later, right? Notice again, the situation has not changed. So Our thoughts, we think, and including myself, we think our thoughts are a direct reflection of reality. But actually, our thoughts are a direct reflection of our nervous system state. All right. That's the clue to understanding that when we change our nervous system state, we can change how we approach the world. All right. So, with that, how do we turn on this switch? That's what we're going to look at next. So, the first part of this is to get out of the brain and the mind and the thoughts into the body. Because remember, the parasympathetic nervous system is part of the peripheral nervous system. It is below your neck. You cannot access the switch through thinking about the situation because your switch is not up here, it's down in your body. This is why we need to first drop our attention and awareness into our bodies. Okay, it's most important. And I'm going to show you how to drop into your body and then how to turn on that switch in a moment. And I'm going to show you one simple exercise that you can do within 2 to 3 minutes in anywhere in the world, wherever you are. You can do this exercise in 2 to 3 minutes and it will turn on this safety switch for you. Before I go there, I want to ask you a question. What do you think happens in the womb when a child is in the womb? What does the child hear and feel that allows it to feel safe and calm inside the womb? You're right. It's a mother's heartbeat and the rhythmic movement when she's walking around, the rhythmic jiggling of the uterus. Those are the two things that the baby feels in utero when our nervous system is barely forming. This is why rhythm and music are huge for human beings to self-soothe. This is why we have dance and we have music in all cultures all around the world, right? It is so ingrained in us from the time we are in utero. So we're going to use this. We're going to use this knowledge that movement and music, rhythmic movement and music, are so calming to our nervous system because from the time we were infants and babies, we used those two to switch on the parasympathetic safety valve, right? So with all that, let's look at what we're going to do to combine all of this into one simple exercise. Now, let's imagine I'm out and about, maybe taking a walk, enjoying nature, the sunshine, and feeling good. Suddenly I get a text. It's a group text. It's in a group thread. And a friend or a cousin of mine has sort of passive aggressively made a comment, kind of blaming me about something that I feel is very unfair and maybe even blatantly untrue. Now I am suddenly angry, anxious, overwhelmed, hurt, humiliated, embarrassed, enraged, panicked, right? All kinds of emotions hijack my body. And all of a sudden, all I'm aware of is that I'm having these chaotic thoughts about this person and how dare they do this and what are other people going to think? And that's so not true. And you've probably been there yourself. I've been there, variations of this multiple times in my life, right? Now, as soon as my sympathetic nervous system gets switched on, it's poked because of the text, and now my muscles are tight, my jaw is clenched, my pupils narrow, I'm staring at the text, and even when I put the phone down and I'm walking, I'm not fully there, right? My pupils are narrowed and all I can think about is the text. Now all of nature and sunshine, everything has disappeared. I don't even know where I am anymore. I certainly am not feeling the open warmth of the day, right? I'm in my own internal world, completely focused on. That's the sympathetic nervous system activated. Now, what can I do? Number one, I notice that I'm triggered. Okay, so that's the first step in this protocol I'm going to teach you. Number one is to say, I'm triggered. That is shorthand for you to understand that your state, your nervous system state needs to be attended to. Not your thoughts, not the situation, your body nervous system state needs to be attended to because it's feeling unsafe. That's why it switched on the sympathetic nervous system. You need to switch on the safety switch, right? So I say, I'm triggered. That reminds me that it's time for a nervous system state regulation. Next, I go and find a private space, maybe behind a tree if I'm outside, maybe in a bathroom if I'm at work, even if I'm mid-flight across the Atlantic Ocean, I can go to the bathroom on the flight. If I'm in the middle of a meeting at work, I can say, well, I need to use the bathroom. I'll be right back. And I go, because the whole routine that I'm going to teach you takes about 2 minutes. So find a bathroom or stand behind a tree so you can do this. So first, again, I'm triggered. My below the neck nervous system needs regulated. Okay, I'm gonna find a private space that I can be in for 2 minutes. And then I'm gonna do 2 things. Number 1, I'm going to breathe in a rhythmic way. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Why do we breathe? So the parasympathetic nervous system, the safety switch, has a nerve that's really important. It's called the vagus nerve, and it's the longest nerve in your body. This nerve goes through your lungs, your stomach, your diaphragm, which is the muscle in between your chest and your belly that helps us breathe. So when we use our breath in a particular rhythmic way, we actually stimulate this parasympathetic vagal nerve, which then turns on the safety switch. Brilliant, right? Especially because you always have your breath. You don't need to have any special equipment. So this particular kind of breath is called a physiological sigh. And I'll do another video telling you all about the physiological sigh, but for now, just know that this particular breath stimulates the vagus nerve the fastest. The way we do it is to take a long inhalation through the nose. Then at the end, the top of the inhalation, we take another short, quick inhalation. And then we exhale slowly through the mouth. And we do that 2 or 3 or 4 times. Okay? It looks like this. Notice when I'm exhaling, I'm loosening everything, my jaw, my tongue, my muscles. Then I do that again. Okay, that's called the physiological sigh. It does 2 things for us. Number 1, it stimulates the vagus nerve, like I said, turns on the switch. But number 2, it also opens little sacs inside of our lungs that contain carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a gas that increases in your system when you're stressed. So when we take the sharp second inhalation, it pops open those tiny sacs. And then when you do a long exhalation, you're getting rid of all the carbon dioxide. So in 2 ways, it is lowering the agitation and the fear and the anxiety and the panic, and it's increasing the signal in your safety switch. Very easy, very accessible because it's your breath. And you only need to, it'll take you maybe 1-2 minutes to do 3 or 4 breaths. Okay. Once you've done that, we're going to use the movement and the music. The way we're going to do that is we're going to stomp our feet. Then we're going to click our fingers and clap. Right? So it looks like this. Stomp, stomp, click, click, clap. 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 While I'm doing this, the important thing is to keep my attention on how the ground feels vibrating against the soles of my feet, and also how my fingers feel as they're moving in rhythm. Notice the rhythmic nature of this, right? I found that when I do this, after a couple of times, I'm actually nodding along as if I'm listening to music. It's so inherent in us that you will start nodding along to it. And you're going to do that for a couple of minutes. That's it. That's the entire protocol. You're done at the end of it, and then you just look around the room just to expand your visual cues, right? Remember, fear makes our pupils contract. So you're just going to expand, look around the room for a second, and you check in with your body. You'll notice that you still find the situation annoying and not appropriate. You might even have some rightful anger towards that person or that situation, but you're no longer panicked, incapacitated, paralyzed, or enraged, which is very, very good news, because now you can actually think. Now your frontal lobe, which is the seat of curiosity and problem solving, has been switched on. It actually automatically switches off once our sympathetic overdrive happens and we're in fear. The frontal lobe switches off, which is why we can't think. So once you have reduced the dial on the sympathetic and switched on the parasympathetic, you can now think, because your prefrontal cortex is like flickering on, and now you can decide, do I need to talk to someone now? Should I think about, processing this with my partner or a friend this evening and then deciding? Should I, journal about this for a little bit? Am I feeling okay enough to get back to my work, and I'll deal with this, during my lunch break? You can make calm, thoughtful, rational, creative decisions that are in alignment with your values. And that's the beauty of this. So to summarize, all we're doing is finding a private space, doing the physiological breath, long inhale through the nose, one more sharp inhale through the nose, long, slow exhale through the mouth. Do that 3 or 4 times. Then we're doing the stomp, stomp, clap, snap, snap, clap, stomp, stomp, snap, snap, clap. And we're going to do that for a couple of minutes. You might end up with 20 or 30 snaps and claps. And then we look around, we relax our bodies, and you'll notice that you are in a better space because you have stimulated the vagal safety switch. How cool is that? This is the beginning of self-regulation. Now, many of us that are anxiously attached tend to very quickly go into panic and overwhelm. So this protocol that I just shared with you is very helpful if you are anxiously attached, and if you're not sure if you or someone you love has anxious attachment. I have another video that's called the 8 oddly specific signs of anxious attachment that you can check out. And that will give you a clue as to what you are dealing with for yourself or in somebody that you love. So I'll see you there.